It's time to forget everything you thought you knew about price to performance in audio because mid-fi is dead. The truth is, it died a long time ago and I didn't even realize it. At the base, price and sound quality don't correlate, but if you look at a number of good products across the board, you'll find some that are cheap, some that are kind of expensive, and some that are really expensive. And people designated the decent products in those ranges to lo-fi, mid-fi, and hi-fi. And summit-fi if you have really deep pockets. But mid-fi is kind of dead now. Little baby steps along the way are what killed it, but it's a really good thing. I think the first stepping stone was the 6XX. If anything, that's like the poster child for the mid-fi headphone, a fantastic value for the money that now a lot of people consider to be truly endgame if you have, say, a tube amp or something like that for it. Then we saw the K361 and K371, headphones that have truly fantastic sound quality, at least a 361 in my opinion. 371 might be more to your taste, but I find that one a little bassy. But they lack on build quality, and in some cases on comfort. A little more top padding would be nice. But they sound truly excellent, especially at their price. It's defining, and it's far beyond what you would have expected at that price range years ago. But there's also other things, like the Sundara. Everything for Sundara after 2020 is truly an exceptional product. I would go so far as to say between the Sundara and the Edition XS, that's pretty much the best things that Hiveman makes. I mean, Aria is better built, Aria is a little bit more comfortable, and in some ways Aria can sound better, but it's a bit more subjective than that. In terms of raw detail, I don't think you're getting something more detailed than the Sundara and Hiveman's lineup unless you're looking at a frequency response change. And maybe that presents itself as more detail, but it's hard to say. It's really subjective because there's people who feel like Susvara, Hiveman's flagship, not Shangri-La, not Electrostat headphone, is like the most detailed thing they've ever heard. And there's people like me who feel like it doesn't sound any more detailed than a K361. To me, it just sounds like a headphone with bright, shimmery treble. And there are headphones that I've listened to that I think sound much more detailed than other things, but at the end of the day, it's probably frequency response. Maybe there is something else happening with driver technologies, but it definitely doesn't correlate with price. The price of a headphone does not make the headphone sound good. I think the rise of inexpensive IEMs is, well, an exact proof of that. There's so many IEMs now. The things that are like under 40 bucks that are really good. Things that are under $100 that are really good. I recently reviewed the Mega 5 EST, and I said it's like one of the best things I've ever heard. It is. And if you had found an IEM with that level of sound quality years ago, it would have been thousands and thousands of dollars. But now, it sits right in at $550. That's still a lot to spend on an audio product. That's not a non-zero amount. It's close after tax what you might spend on a 6XX, a $100 amp, and a $100 DAC, which is not nothing. But it's also a big step from where things have been in the past. Price and sound quality don't correlate now more than ever, and it's a really, really good thing. The Atom is a prime example. That is a $100 amp, maybe $120 now, but they have better and better versions of it. They have an aluminum chassis. They're just really good. Years ago, I felt like you needed to buy an expensive amplifier to really get the most out of your headphones. Now I do not feel like that is the case. I do think you can get incredible sound out of some more expensive amps that have great features, different OTL designs, some tubes that are actually pretty objectively good, like the anniversary edition of the new Felix amp. That thing's really cool. Like, that is an engineering marvel of a tube amp, and I love it, and I think it sounds great. There's stuff like the Zale HM1, which is another really, really cool amp with all kinds of adjustability and different features. You can choose Class A or a servo mode. You can adjust a soundstage knob, bass and treble adjustments, and so on. Things that are really useful that definitely affect the sound. But I'm also just as happy with my Atom, that little $120 amp. And aside from a power limitation on some headphones that are very power hungry, like say the Modhouse Tungsten for example, I don't feel like any of my headphones are held back by that cheap little amp. The Tungsten's a fantastic headphone too. Oratory was posting on Twitter recently that I think like 90% or something of the population would prefer its frequency response. That's impressive, and it's a really good planar. I've been meaning to make a video on that for a while. But in that case, you would want a more powerful amp. That thing needs voltage. But does an amp being more expensive mean you're gonna get better sound quality? In my opinion, no, it doesn't. We've also seen this transition happen more in the consumer spaces. Things like the AirPods Pro 2 were a massive step up in sound quality. Things like the Nothing Ear 2. It's not cheap, but the Focal Batiste. Bluetooth and consumer-focused audio is getting better and better and better. And it's also getting more and more affordable. And AirPods are the most popular audio purchase on the planet. Nothing audio-wise in the consumer space sells more than AirPods. Not Sennheiser, not Odyssey. AirPods sell the most. and now they're actually really good. I mean, think about that. The AirPods Pro 2, an actually hi-fi product, is now this popular. Hi-fi audio is available to people who don't even know they're purchasing hi-fi audio. And between that and how good the things we used to consider mid-fi are, I truly think mid-fi is dead. And my hope is that it continues to get cheaper and cheaper. Another recent example of this, now this is in the upper range, but before I wasn't a big fan of the DCA Expanse. It's a $4,000 headphone. And then the E3 came around at half the price of that. Still a $2,000 headphone, but I think a notable improvement over headphone that was double its price. And I think it won't be long before we see a closed back that's good, that's cheaper than that, and so on and so on. Good audio is getting cheaper, and cheap audio is getting good. Another example is EMF. He's making a more affordable line of headphones. They're still pricey, but they are a lot more affordable than things he's made in the past. The Bokeh line, Bokeh Closed and Bokeh Open. I believe the initial run of those was under $1,000. And if you look at historically, ZMFs are pretty high-end headphones. So the question is, how far will it go? I hope that it keeps on going. I hope that one day I could purchase a ZMF headphone that's, say, $500. I hope that there are things one day that sound as good as the best headphones I've ever heard that can be had for under $300. And I definitely think that is a future we are approaching. Now, I don't think that'll mean there's no reason to still buy things in the high end. There's more to it than just sound. Some of the things in the really high end are built beautifully. They're fantastic to hold in the hand. They're really comfortable. They're gorgeous. A lot of them are works of art and engineering just as much as they are sound. And in a way, that's part of what you're paying for with them. But I also don't think there's much holding companies back in the present from making something that is extremely good sounding, extremely comfortable, and extremely cheap. And I think it's only a matter of time before things like that start popping up more and more and more. I mean, look at Moondrop recently. They've released several planars. And while I don't feel like they are either better than the Sundara, they start to get close. And that range is starting to fill out, Sundara already being a headphone that is an insane value at its price point. And as they start to encroach upon the sound quality of Sundara, well, Sundara is either going to have to get better or someone else is going to make something better. That range is going to get more and more competitive and is a very good thing for you and for me. It's actually a really good thing for me because I spend way too much money on this hobby. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. I've been collecting hundreds of headphones for years, but I am more enthusiastic about the cheap things being good than I am about any flagship coming out today. It's like, yeah, this is another expensive headphone that sounds amazing, cool, but show me something cheap that's really, really good, and that's what's going to get me excited. And as a result of that, I've been really excited about this hobby in recent years. But the death of mid-fi wasn't a thing that happened overnight. It's a thing that happened over a longer period of time, where things like the AD500X, that is a sub-$100 open back that is pretty good at its price. Again, the Sundara, the 6XX, all these IEMs, the Atom, they all stacked up. And what they built as a collective was better than what was available. In some way, shape, or form, each of those headphones raised the bar at their price point. And audio's gotten more competitive. More things have pushed into that price point that have gotten really good. And the more that happens, the better things are going to get. If you've made it to the end of this video, if you want to help support the channel, I'm actually leaving Patreon, so I'm not going to ask you to join that. I'm moving over to floatplane, and I have an exclusive video on there right now, the same time this video goes live, about some old school Sony headphones. And they're really, really cool looking. So if you want to help support this channel and you want to get access to exclusive content made just for the people over there, you can check out my floatplane at the link in the video description. That also gets you access to the Telegram chat, by the way. I'm in there all the time and I answer questions. So today was just a little rant. I've been feeling more rants lately, and it's kind of fun. We get to go back and forth, right? I will be reading all the comments of this video, even if I don't get a chance to reply to all of them. So let me know what your thoughts are on this. What do you think about the mid-fi range now that it's not really a thing anymore? It's all just hi-fi. What do you think about the high-end products, things that are still really expensive? Do you feel like it justifies the separation for their other benefits? And on the flip side of that, what is the cheapest thing you know of that's really, really good? Maybe somebody else will read through the comments and find their next purchase. As always, happy listening, and let's wrap up this video. If you liked this one, leave a like down below, a comment letting me know what you want to see in the future. If you want to get active in the community, you can at the forum or Discord, both available at the link in the video description. As always, don't forget to stick around and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Till next one, guys. Peace.